Hello dear ladies and gentlemen, in this video I'm gonna show you a real fire on the board, a really brilliant game between two strongest player ever in Blitz, between HIKARU Nakamura and 19 years old teen from France, Alireza Firouzja. How Alireza caused problems in front of HIKARU and simply how ended this draw you will see in this video. Hello my dear subscribers, HIKARU Nakamura played with white pieces and the time control was the same, 5 minutes plus 2 second increment per move, and it was a 12th round during a St. Louis Blitz stage, and before this round Alireza was current leader with 8 wins, and 4 Alireza's games ended by draw, simply catastrophic, decent performance. And HIKARU certainly, of course, he wanted to win this game because he understood that in front of him is sitting a simply 19-year-old teen, and Nakamura opened this game with king's knight move, knight to f3, d5, take control of the center, e3, knight f6, and c4. It is really unbelievable move from HIKARU's side, because HIKARU really in majority of his games he continues here with b3 move, and then after developing his two bishops, he then realizes and he then take decision which pawn goes to the 4th rank. But here c4 move, e6, b3, c5, and here Alireza took a decision to play mostly aggressively against his really good known opponent, and c5, controlling a d4 square, bishop b2, knight c6, c takes d5, e takes d5, and bishop b5, and really most unpleasant move for black side. And now idea is simple, to finish development, king castle, then d4, knight c3, rook goes to c1, and then taking and pushing a pressure to knight on c6 square, bishop d6, castle, castle. Simply both sides finished their consolidation on king's side, and d4. Really good moves here. HIKARU simply struggling for the center, and here if Alireza hadn't take on d4, simply HIKARU would take on c5, and after a pawn's exchange, somewhere bishop f6 and queen d5 ideas are really unpleasant for Alireza's side. So Alireza took pawn on d4, knight d4, and here black's knight is under attack, and here Firouzja had some different options. The simplest one to go to c7 square, simply to defend the knight on c6, simply to also attack white's pawn on h2 square, and also the second option was to play bishop d7. Maybe it's not the best move in this current position, but it's most practical one, because here black also develops his bishop and simply defends their knight on c6. But here Alireza did a really tricky move, bishop c7. He offers to his opponent to take on c6, but here is a really a mouse trap. After knight c6 and the second capture on c6, queen d6, and it is fork, bishop is under attack, and simply it's a really unpleasant threat made on h2. So HIKARU really fast recognizes this trap, and knight d2 move was a continuation from American's opponent and his side in this moment. Knight takes on d4, bishop takes, and queen d6 with the threat of checkmate in 1, g3 simply, bishop a5. It's the best move in this current position. What is idea of this move? How you can see with my arrows black wants simply to take a knight on d2, then go with bishop to h3 square, with knight to e4, and simply play and cause problems in white's position with white squares. That is a point of Hikaru's of Alireza's last moves. A3, bishop h3, simply rook is under attack now. Rook goes to e1 and simply capture on d2. Queen takes on d2 and knight e4. And really, despite two bishop advantage, black has got a little bit more pleasant position, because here on the king side, white have to some defend these light squares, and really, despite of two bishop advantage in white's position, how I can say, really, black has a little bit more pleasant position, because here white's pieces had to really go forward, because here black also have a really good perspectives consisted with play with light squares, and here really knight on e4, queen on d6, bishop and on h3 are really active pieces. And here black also has a simple plan: go to c8 square with rook, queen e6, queen e5, maybe rook c7, rook f c8, and then simply going to c2, rook a7, rook a c8, bishop d3, and bishop f5. Light square bishop moves backward to simply defend their knight on e4 square. b4 is a reasonable move, because main idea of Hikaru's position is simply to end the development process. But here, after rook c1 move, pawn on a3 is under attack, so b4, queen went to g6 square, and here is also a really good trap from Alireza's side. Here is also threatening a knight g3 move, and after bishop for example, white would make a rook a2 move, knight takes on g3, and after bishop f5, knight goes to e2, double check, and simply white could here resign. Yep, but here Hikaru took a really good move. Rook went to d1 square, knight went to g5. Here simply defends his bishop Hikaru with the second piece. Knight went to g5, and here was a catastrophic blunder from Hikaru's side. Here the main two options was to play, for example, h4, and after bishop exchange take simply with rook, after knight f3 maybe somehow king g2, or simply sacrifice this quality and take a pawn on d5. Maybe this was a reasonable game from Hikaru's side. But after a really mystic blunder f4, here, how you can see, I just painted that light squares in Hikaru's position are simply catastrophic. And here simply Alireza took a bishop on d3, queen took, and it is the second mistake from Hikaru in a row. Hikaru should have taken d3 with rook. Why? For the thing that square f3 and square c2 were under white's control, but here Hikaru took with queen, knight went to f3 with check, king went to g2, and rook c2, and it is a catastrophic blunder also from Alireza's side. Alireza didn't recognize that he has a really good option, simply a fork to on e1 square, knight e1, white had to take, and simply queen d3, and simply white could could have resigned in this position. But Alireza, I guess, simply realized that he has a really simple move, rook c2, in this current position, and after king h1 or king h3, these moves simply doesn't matter. Rook h2, and it is a checkmate. And rook c2 is also a winning move, but not the perfect one. Queen takes, king 2 on f3. Yeah, from one side, white has rook and bishop compensation to queen, but it's not enough such a compensation. And of course here is no any worse, here is no any talks that black position is simply winning, but it Blitz and Hikaru always plays till the end. Rook c2, simply change, and here Alireza maybe blundered a pawn on a7, but for instance this position is also winning. Here light squares are so weak that black's king can simply move forward, for example, to g4 square. Queen a4 was a really good continuation. b5, rook d2, and g5. And here Alireza started simply to consolidate his position, simply capture on g5, and here black's king simply moves forward. And also the main idea to play h5, h4 to provocate this kind of exchange, and then king goes to e4, pawn also goes forward, and really here is no difficult way to win this position. h4, simply change. Here was a big here Alireza was in big trouble, because time that he left was simply 7-8 seconds, and here Alireza played really fast to add some extra seconds after each move. Queen e4. Here was also a good option to take on a3, but I guess that Alireza disliked king g4 move. Then rook f6 is possible, then pawn capture on g5, but here really was a good option to play queen a6, and this is simply winning a pawn endgame for black's side. Okay, but here Alireza moved queen a4, went to h2, king h5, king g3, queen g4, king h2, queen d1. Simply Alireza played too fast for these extra seconds. After each move, rook g2, king g6, and here Alireza just give a couple of checks, and bishop d4, queen d4, and here Alireza with more time on his clock realized that he simply can take a pawn on a3 and then go with king and pawn simply forward. Bishop c5, simply capture on a3, queen b3, king g3, queen c4. Here black's queen returns to king side, rook d4, queen f1, rook d2, queen a1. Rook d2 is really one of the weakest move on this position, because after queen e1 check, it's fork. Black should have to return to f2 square, but here simply black's kings can simply activate in this position. King h4, king g2, king g4, and here after couple of moves, after 63rd move in this game, Hikaru just resigned, because here is no defense from checkmate. If white could have played rook a1, then queen g2 or queen h2. If white simply stays rook e2, queen f3, rook g2, and queen g2 mate. So Alireza crushed the one, I guess, the strongest blitz player in the world, Hikaru Nakamura, simply with black pieces. It's a decent performance, it's a decent game from Alireza, despite of several Hikaru's blunder. Is a really good performance by Alireza. And congratulations, I finished this game, and I guess that you just enjoyed this video. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.